Notts County Talk, we are live, episode 114 in the Pavis perspective. It feels a long time, George, since we did one, which was sort of a two game weekend, wasn't it? Or week. We've got Gillingham and then Newport, two games that, in your opinion, let's kick it off straight away. Hard-hitting conversations. Are they both must-win games?
I do feel like Gillingham is definitely. We must win. Yeah, because our form of recent has not been where it should be. So a team that we've beat, at their place. So for me, it's a must win. Newport, probably, but
we'll
more so Friday for me.
Keep those ideas because we've got Matt from Joe's and the Blood coming to chat to us in 5 or so minutes. If you are tuning in on Spotify, please do give us that 5-star review. We are pushing towards 50 sort of star ratings on Spotify, which is massive for us. Over 100 people a week listen on Spotify, over 103 people in here so far this evening. Thank you so much for your support. If you're not already subscribed, please do. And as always, Better Bytes Computers is the place to go and get your computer fixed or get refurbished computers. Use the code Pavis Perspective for money off. Evening, Dave, Ian, Adam, Helen, Alex, Royston, Len, loads of you tonight. Indica, Will, John, Gary, Ian, Ken, Samuel, who is a platinum member. Thank you to all the platinum members at the bottom. Loads of you in this evening. Plenty to talk about. Obviously, the Mansfield Derby defeat, but a pretty harrowing start I've come across, George.
Harrowing.
It is harrowing. This is episode 114. An average of 45 minutes an episode. 3.5 days me and you have been chatting to each other and people have watched. 3.5 days of absolute drivel.
Absolute drivel.
It is. And to top it off, have you got our poll question up there for today's show?
I have. I've looked at it and I'm not that happy with it, to be honest. But
no. Go on. What is it?
Which shop is the best? Tesco, Asda, Morrison's, or Sainsbury's?
And look, we can only have 4 options. I know people are putting Lidl in the chat, Aldi, M&S, Waitrose.
Justice for Woolworths.
Woolworths is gone, mate. Woolworths went a while ago.
Justice
for Woolworths. We're going to call. Are they the big 4 anymore?
Definitely not.
Definitely not. Are they?
There's an Aldi about every 3 corners now, isn't there?
Well, we're going for the old school shops in this one. The ones that were there before Aldi and Lidl. I mean, Roger's straight in there with Aldi. See, get your votes in. I'll put my vote in. My vote's changed since in the last year. Mine's changed. But yeah, this evening we're going to chat Mansfield, George. We're obviously there. We had a vlog up. We'll chat about that after we've spoken to Matt. We've got to talk about there's still no Jatta. No work permit through.
No Jatta, no party.
Exactly. Thanks, Ian. Says it's enjoyable drivel. Really appreciate that.
You take that, don't you?
Cheers, Ian. And then I've got a couple of things I want to bring to the chat. Talking about the bench and the level of depth we've got. Have we got game changers on there? And then obviously we've got to talk about that Newport game as well. So loads and loads to talk about this evening. Get your questions in. We're going to get Matt in literally a couple of seconds from Joe's and the Blood. As always, you're always fantastic with your questions. So if you want to put any of those to Matt about the game, about the reverse fixture, obviously the one with the Macari goal, top corner, then please do. But yeah, as always, get those questions in. So Matt, thank you for joining us. How are you doing?
A pleasure, first and foremost. Yeah, very well, thank you, gents. Yeah, looking forward to this one. It should be a good game. Unfortunately, it's not one that I can get up to because I've moved it to a Friday night, and we know how much the EFL love their fans and think about travel and all that type of thing. So it'll have to be eye follow for me. But no, it's got all the makings of being a really good encounter, I think.
Yeah, it has. We had that. We had a Friday night earlier in the season away at Salford because they wanted to trial Friday night fixtures, which was lovely for the Notts fans.
Yeah, we had one 3 days before Christmas, Forest Green away. So
yeah.
Oat milk, veggie nuggets, and a boring 0-0 draw.
Not an easy ground to get to either. I've heard we've got the final game of the season for us. So,
is it?
Could be a big one. Could be a big one. So, Matt, I'll be honest. Pre-season predictions, me and George had you right up there. What has happened?
We don't score enough goals, I think, is the bottom line. We're not much in the same way that you probably say if you stop conceding goals too much, then you're going to be right in amongst it. And it's exactly the opposite for us. If we start scoring more and locating the onion bag, so to speak, then I think we'll be in the playoffs at worst. I say at worst, I think the top three is probably gone in terms of we're running out of games and we're far too inconsistent at the moment and we don't score enough. But I'd certainly back us to get in the playoffs. I said 6th at the start of the season when I did my pre-season predictions video, and I think I had you 5th or 4th. So I'm not a million miles away for both teams, but we've obviously got issues at opposite ends of the pitch, and it's stuff that both teams need to rectify fairly quickly if they don't want their seasons to just sort of fizzle out and we drift into mid-table mediocrity. I think is the case for both sides.
George, are we in the same boat as what Matt reckons for Gillingham? Is top 3 gone for us?
It's close, isn't it? I think it's very, very close. You hold on to a little bit of hope because of our attacking threat, and if we can sort of tighten up a little bit, but I think we're on the cusps of it being out of reach for us for sure.
Yeah, we've been on a really poor run of form. I said to Matt before we came on it's probably the best time to play Notts this season. Obviously after that game where Luke Williams left and we drew 5-5, but I'm guessing, Matt, you couldn't imagine a 5-5 game for Gillingham this season, really.
No, not at all. That take about 3 months, to be fair. But we've been saying this isn't just a Stephen Clements issue. I've said this 1,000 times in recent weeks. It feels like it's not something that Stephen Clements has caused. It's something that he's inherited, and to agree, it was something that Neil Harris inherited 2 years ago. I think this goes all the way back to probably halfway through the 21-22 season, the one immediately after COVID when we got relegated out of League One. It's something that's just festered for far too long. Is it the managers? It can't be. You can't keep blaming the managers when it's the same group of players essentially. And January we saw quite a big revamp of the front line. We let Macaulay Bond go on loan to Cambridge to reunite with Neil Harris. Tom Nichols has gone to Mansfield, which at face value looks a slightly strange one. Could you class them as a promotion rival? But I'd imagine if we've got anything near the fee that we paid for him 12 months ago, then it makes business sense at least. But my concern is we've replaced him with novices at the level. Josh Walker was good at National League level, but it's not really cut it at League One. So we're keeping our fingers crossed that League Two can be his level. Josh Andrews has had a decent first half of the season on loan at Accrington from Birmingham, where we purchased him from, but he's a couple of weeks away from fitness. And then Jorge Hurtado is the complete maverick and rogue one that we know absolutely nothing about on loan from Watford. And I asked a couple of Watford fans what we can expect from him, and they didn't even know. So that's the unknown quantity that even his parent club aren't quite sure what you're going to get with him, which might end up being a blessing. So it's a brave gamble, I think, in terms of rolling the dice. It was certainly a dice that had to be rolled, because less than a goal a game isn't sustainable if you want to get promoted, I don't think. And but whether they're good enough to score enough goals to fire us into the upper reaches of the table and the playoff places remains to be seen.
Yeah, I think our reverse fixture, when I've already mentioned that Macquarie scored the goal, I think that kind of, I know it was early on in the season, but it showed what both teams are about. I thought you had quite a lot of the ball, didn't really do too much with it, but the goal we did concede was just calamitous defending. I think, remind me of who scored. Was it Malone?
Scott Malone, our left back. It was, to be fair, I think it's one of them. If you're a fan of the defending side, you try and pick holes in it, which we all tend to do automatically. But I think it's one of them. If you're an attacking side, a fan of the attacking side, you just have to. There was a couple of good drag backs, don't get me wrong, for a left back, and he's fired it into the bottom corner. Yeah, but I can see your side of the story. There was plenty of opportunity for someone just to put their foot through it or make a tackle. I understand it's in the box, so there might have been a little bit of sort of trepidation in terms of giving a spot kick away. But yeah, you have to sometimes hold your hands up, don't you? And the lad Macquarie scored an absolute belter, and it was frustrating because I think we was on top at the time, but same old issues that have hindered us for far too long is we weren't quite good enough in both boxes.
Yeah. Something I've never actually asked an opposition fan on this is, because it's starting to come up a little bit on social media and in our comments, what do you make of a side like Notts that will just pass the ball? I mean, some games this season we've had over 80% possession. What do you make of that, and what's it like watching as an opposition fan? Because we don't sometimes make anything of that possession.
It's a good question for me, because when Neil Harris got sacked, we got told that we was going down this completely different route and we was going to become a pass inside and keep it. But I guess it's where you pass it, isn't it? If you look at stats after a game and it says that Gillingham, Notts County, Real Madrid, Barcelona, whoever has completed 1,000 passes, but 700 of them are across their back line and between their fullbacks and then their keeper, it's not going to hurt opposition teams. But if you're doing it in the opposition half and in the final third, then obviously it becomes effective. I think the question mark over Notts County has been the defensive side of things all season, hasn't it? I mean,
yeah.
I did a bit of research for my match preview that went out a couple of days ago, and it's staggering that you've got 4 players who've got 45 goals and 29 assists between them in Jones, McGoldrick, Langstaff and Dan Crowley. And I think Langstaff's 8 behind Gillingham in League 2 this season, which again tells you all you need to know about our problems. You're a good side. Like any team that's got that attacking prowess at this level is going to be a threat. But I think with the change of manager, I think that's caused a bit of a hangover because Luke Williams was absolutely brilliant for Notts County. And I know it's difficult to say, and I discussed this with Tom Williams on our preview, and I described it as a legacy. And that's maybe, to some people, might sound a bit over the top after 18, 20 months in charge. But I think he did create a legacy because you've not been in the Football League for so long, and you should be in the Football League. You're a club that deserves to be in the Football League. And he did a phenomenal job. So there's clearly a hangover now that the new fellas come in. You're not 1 in 4. So like you've said, it's a good time probably to be playing, yeah? If any team's going to give us chances and a chance to score a couple of goals in a game, hopefully it'll be Notts County. But whether we can take them chances to counter the fact that you're going to create loads at the other end, can we stand up to that and be robust enough defensively is one of the intriguing battles. Yeah, you're a good side, but you know, you're not flawless like any team in this division. And I sort of see similarities to Wrexham, whereas Wrexham, I think, and you might, obviously you'll know more about this coming out of the National League. I think in the National League, you can probably concede 5 chances. You might concede 1 goal. I think Football League, you concede 5 chances, good chances. The chances are you're going to concede 2 or 3. And I think Wrexham were doing that at the start of the season. They seem to have cottoned onto it a bit quicker than you guys. I think you guys have decided to go, right, we're just going to keep attacking and we'll let our front 4 or 5 win games for us, which has generally worked. The concern is if 1 or 2 of them go off the boil or get injured and miss games, then the defensive thing becomes a bigger issue. And it seems to have been because last 2 games, I know it's only a small segment, you've only scored once and you've picked up 1 point, albeit against a good Barrow and a good Mansfield side. It's not like you've drawn and lost to rubbish. So, yeah, same as us, you're not far away, are you? But you don't want this bad run to continue and then you slip out of the top 7, 8th, 9th, 10th, games keep getting ticked off, and then suddenly you're playing catch up with 10, 12 games to go because then it becomes a lot harder.
Sort of
momentum, I suppose, is the big word, isn't it? Momentum.
Yeah.
Sort of staying on a similar topic in terms of us being like a high possession side. How do you see Gillingham sort of counteracting that?
It'd be interesting. Be interesting whether we try and press it and nick the ball high up or whether we stand off and let you play and then engage in our half. I think Gills fans have said all season that they just want us to, we just feel that we need to do everything with a little bit more pace and a little bit more intensity. Defensively, we're fine. I think there's only 3 or 4 teams have conceded less than us in the division, but no team scored more. So you can only get so far on defensive resilience. At some point, you've got to go and score some goals to get yourself to where you want to be. But I think it'll be an interesting battle. I think wing-backs might be one of the key areas of the pitch because I think in terms of the 2 that you play, it'll be Jody Jones and Aaron Nemain, I'm guessing, who are very, very good going forward, but potentially might leave some space the other way. Yeah, we've got Romeo Hutton, who we've signed in January, who's got the most crosses in, I think, in England, potentially in Europe, most assists over the last 2 years or something ridiculous. I think I read somewhere the other day when I was researching my show, he's put in 45 crosses in 3 games for us. So that'll be a threat. Can we then get Ollie Hawkins into the game as a focal point striker to try and score a goal? Josh Walker, if he starts, I think could cause you problems playing off the shoulder and getting in behind with a bit of pace because I think you do lack a bit of pace defensively. But again, to counter all that is the 4 people that I've already mentioned in McGoldrick, Jones, Langstaff and Crowley. You've got 4 of the very, very best at the level, which is going to make you a threat to any side if you get it right.
Yeah, it's very interesting. If we'd have had this conversation 2 weeks ago, I'd have been like, Gillingham will 100% score at least 2 goals. But what I've watched under Maynard, I mean, I wasn't at the Barrow game, I couldn't make it, but George was there and I heard a lot about it. And then Mansfield had to score from outside the area to score, and Barrow had a couple of chances, but it was a deflected cross that found its way through. I don't want to be too confident because I've seen too many games, but defensively we're much more solid. The other side, what a lot of fans are saying is we're not scoring a lot of goals. And look, we could have had 3 against Mansfield, and one we hit the ball on Saturday and it went over the line. Mansfield fans said it went over the line. It didn't get given. It's one of those that span and bounce. So, another day we score 3 past a very, very good defence. So it will be interesting to see how we play. It'd be interesting to see how you play. Some teams have sat off as I think the worst thing under Williams. I've only got 2 games under Maynard. Under Williams, the worst thing to do was sit offers. The absolute best thing to do, and the only thing to do was put us under.
I think we did that, didn't we? I think if I remember rightly, the game at the Priestfield, we sat off first half, and you just absolutely battered us.
Yeah,
and probably could have been out of sight. But then I think second half we come up and we got 10 yards higher up the pitch, and we pressed you in your own half, and we was able to pinch it, and that's what brought about the goal.
Yeah,
and then you have to hold your hands up. Like I say, the kid smashed in a goal of the month contender, which is
exactly.
It happens, doesn't it? So it's a good goal, and I think it was one of them games we probably said we deserved the point, and you've probably said, we've done just enough to deserve the points. It was one of them games. So the first goal will be key. We're generally very good from the front. If we get in front, we don't lose. I don't think we've lost. We didn't lose under Neil Harris scoring the first goal, and I don't think we've dropped many points scoring the first goal under Stephen Clements. Obviously, it's scoring that goal that's been the issue for far too long. So I think if you get the first one, it could be a longer evening because the crowd will get up and we then have to be more open and have to chase a little bit. And that, I think, would play into your hands. But if we can be in the game at half time, then I think we've got good players. I think Gills fans have sort of got stuck in this rut a little bit where we think, we haven't got any good players, but we've got good quality. It's just we're not seeing enough of it on a consistent basis. But when we get it right, we can be very good. Again, the unknown quantity now is we've got 3 brand new strikers that we know very little about, and hopefully you don't know too much about as well. That might help.
Exactly. Let's get a few questions then. So Ian said, evening, Matt, heard you may bring 1,000 tomorrow. Is that correct? Do you know if that's correct?
I know Gills tweeted earlier. If you give me 10 seconds. Which
would be a good following. George, best away following this season that you've seen at Meadow Lane? Who would you say?
I wouldn't like to say, to be honest.
Come on.
That makes it obvious.
We had sold, as of 8 hours ago, we tweeted that we'd sold 870.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'd imagine if people bar on the door, it won't be far off 1,000.
Yeah, that would be a very good following for a Friday night as well, I think.
100%.
It would be. Let's see. There's a lot of comments coming in. Just trying to come through. We've got this one from Chris that says Matt's podcast is very good. Listen to a few. So praise for you there, Matt.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that.
Subscribe button. There you go. Get subscribing. Subscribe to us as well if you're not already subscribed. Let's have a look. There's quite a few. There's been a bit of chat. So I've got another question: how many Gillingham bring in tomorrow? Matt comes across very well, very knowledgeable. Matt talks straight. So there we go. Some good comments for you, Matt. But
thank you very much.
Our question then is, we like to ask this one as well. Is there a player, you've obviously mentioned a few, is there a player that's going to go under the radar that we need to watch out for tomorrow that we may not necessarily be aware of?
Depends who we start. The obvious one would be the lad Hurtado, because we've seen him for half an hour and I think he's played 45 minutes for Ipswich and set up a goal against Chesterfield in the Cup. The small cameo that we saw last week was exciting in terms of he constantly wanted the ball. There's a couple of times he was a bit head down and shot when he could have passed, but it was something that we felt we've probably missed for a little while in terms of it was someone who just wanted to get the ball and get the game by the scruff of the neck and try and make something happen. And I'm all for that. It won't come off all the time. That's why he's on loan in League Two at the moment. So I'd say him. I suppose in terms of someone who would do a lot of good work but probably won't grab the headlines, and it's a player that's, I think if you ask 99% Gills fans at the moment, they'd say he's our player of the season, is Ethan Coleman, who plays central defensive midfield. He's been absolutely superb. We got him in from Leyton Orient end of January last year, and a lot of the Orient fans were like, oh yeah, that's fine, he's not going to do too much. Bromley fans who'd had him on loan, they said he was decent. We thought this season he'd probably sort of play second fiddle to the experienced Sean Williams, but he got his chance opening day at Stockport for an injury to someone else, and he's kept Sean Williams out the side. Sean Williams, who's ex-Republic of Ireland international, Millwall, MK Dons, Portsmouth. We've not seen him for about 2 months. He barely gets on the bench. I think the last time he was on the bench was FA Cup, because you can name 9. So for me, yeah, Hurtado in the fact that he's a complete unknown in terms of we don't know what he's really about. So if he gets minutes, that'd be interesting. But yeah, under the radar, does all the dirty work and just keeps us ticking over is Ethan Coleman.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye out for him. We'll keep an eye out. Midfield could be crucial. We're a bit light there, George, still, do you think?
I think time will tell, won't it? I think probably at this
moment, we had on loan a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I think at this moment in time, I think probably, but then give it a few weeks, I think we'll be in a good place.
Yeah, massive misses, Matty Palmer, who
I was going to say, how much have you missed him? Because he was phenomenal at the start of the season. Like, that's one hell of a player to be missing, and that's basically the rest of the season, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. I saw. I think he's just got back on the bike in the past few weeks. I saw something earlier where the first 48 points available, we picked up 30 with him, and since he's gone, we've picked up 14. Well, I think he went in November. Maybe.
So he played in the reverse fixture, didn't he? Remember him standing out, being very, very good in the middle of the park.
End of November-ish, that he got injured. So massive. I'll put this question in for Inigo because we've kind of spoken about it, but you obviously got a good defence, so it's kind of the polar opposite to us. And I know we have spoken about it a little bit, but does it worry you having the lowest goal scorer? How much does it worry you? Because you've got still got quite a strong defence. Yeah,
like I say, we're not that far away. If these two of these players, or one or two of these players can come in and hit the ground running, then I don't think we'd be far away. You always seem to get a team that comes from outside the playoffs to get in, but it has to be a cause for concern. You can't. If anyone said to me at the start of the season, or said to Neil Harris when he was in charge, or Stephen Clements the day he took over, do you think you can get in the playoffs averaging less than a goal a game? No, 100%. It's just not sustainable. In the same way that we won our first games 4 games 1-0. That's not sustainable either.
Yeah.
Something has to change. And we've scored in each of the last 6 games, albeit 1 in 5 of them and 2 to come from behind against Accrington. But I've been a little bit critical of Stephen Clements, but one thing I will say is he's sort of sorted out the away form. If you look in the last few, we went to Accrington and came from behind. We won at Colchester New Year's Day. We should have got something at MK Dons. We were the better side for 75, 80 minutes, but again, missed a load of chances. And then 2 sucker punches where we switched off for the second one, definitely, and it cost us the match. Straight answer is yes. It's worrying because it's just not sustainable, a promotion push going at less than a goal. I'm trying to think, has a team ever been promoted? There might be 1 or 2 ever been promoted with a minus goal difference.
Any statisticians out there? If you could find
if there's anyone that can help, that'd be brilliant. I'm sure there probably is somewhere, but it's got to be something that you can count on one hand.
Well, if either of us go up, it could be one of our teams that do that. Either way,
rather than a minus goal difference when you've scored about 75, though, rather than.
Well, it's frustrating to watch. It's so frustrating to watch. Final thing then, Matt, before we let you go, appreciate you joining us on a Thursday night. What is your score prediction for tomorrow night?
Just to prove that I'm not making it up, this is my notes from the match preview that I did with Tom the other night, and I had it between head and heart. I think this is a good time to play you, but I'm also very wary that you've got very good attacking players, and we can't afford to switch off. So I was head and heart, I was torn, and I went with the head. I don't know, there it is, that way. 1-1.
Yeah, 1-1. Yeah, I mean, our goals scored conceded massively dropped. Possibly, we give our score prediction at the end, but I really think we need a win, like George said at the start of the video. But 1-1, you'd be happy with that?
Yeah, I don't think that would be a disaster. Then we've got Swindon at home. I said at the start of the month, this month will ultimately determine a long way where we go, because we play Swindon at home Tuesday, then we go to Newport, and then our last 2 home games of the month are Stockport and Wrexham.
Yeah, tricky. We've got Wrexham coming up as well. Big games.
If it was away, I'd be massively sort of concerned, but I think their away form's quite. I mean, there's a big drop off in their away form compared to their home form, but they're still going to be a threat, and we're still going to have to be completely at it. But yeah, I think by the end of the month, we'll have a better idea of where Gills are ultimately going to end up.
Yeah, their home form is literally a fortress there, isn't it? But we'll see. Matt, I appreciate you coming on. If you haven't checked out, or you'd like to check out Matt's preview, it's Gills in the Blood. Go and have a look at it. Really good preview. And I know you'll be watching on iFollow, you said. So hopefully you enjoy the game, but not too much, Matt.
And same to you, gents. All the best for the rest of the season. But
thanks for joining us.
Thank you. See you later.
Mate.
Take care.
Cheers. All right, great to have Matt on. Some really good insight. Lots of praise for Matt in there, and also his match preview as well. So go and give him a subscription if you haven't already. George, I'm going to start a topic conversation here with you. I'm going to like you to tell me your thoughts.
Yeah.
Criticism of Stuart Maynard, because let's be honest, it happened on social media after the Mansfield game.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think it's daft, to be honest. I think if you actually watch the game, I think for the proportion of the game, we were the better side. First half, we should have got 2 goals. We had 2 really clear-cut chances. We should have, like, minimum scored 1 goal in that first half. Second half was a little bit dull. But I don't think you can criticise him at all, to be honest. For him to come in and in 2 games, have really tightened up the defence. Barrow was, it was a difficult game to watch, but I think that's just Barrow. They came to frustrate and they did a good job of it, and they are where they are in the league. And Mansfield, I think everyone would probably agree, the best team to come to Meadow Lane. As probably difficult as that is to admit and say, they were. And I think we made life very difficult for them. So my only criticism would probably be substitutions. I think we could have probably pulled for a substitution in the Barrow game, and I reckon we probably could have took the man off for Toby at Mansfield. Whether there's an issue there with Toby, if he's got a slight injury or something, I'm really not sure. But I would lean towards that being the case, because the man, he just looked so tired, I thought, towards the end of the game. He sort of lost his pace a little bit as well. So I think that sub needed to happen. But I think to be criticising him for the impact he's had so far, I think is crazy. And I know football's a results business. And we've maybe not had the results in his first 2 games. But for me, the performance against Mansfield was enough to give me enough hope that the defence are tightening up.
Yeah.
And we're still threatening going forward.
I couldn't believe it, if I'm honest.
I think you always get it, though. You always get it.
Oh, you do. And it's every team. But I know some of it would have been the emotional loss of a derby game away at Mansfield, when it's frustrating, when you're the better team. And we were the better team. And I don't know if any Mansfield fans would say they were, maybe because it's their team, but we were the better side. And you say we nearly scored, George. Apparently we did score. Mansfield fans saying the ball was over the line. Mansfield commentators said the ball was over the line. Macca seemed to think it was over the line. I mean, I'm not going to go back on that. But, on another day, and people say, well, we didn't score. But on another day, we score 3. I'll be sat here now openly saying that I was concerned if we'd have gone to Mansfield and barely looked like having a shot on goal. We had 3 shots in the first minute and a half. Didsey should score. We hit the bar, we hit the post. I'm not concerned at all. Not one bit from what I've seen from Stuart Maynard so far. Possibly, like you say, with the substitutions. I mean, someone's commented here, should we have had fresh legs last 15? I think we should have had fresh legs last 30, personally. But other than the subs, I am not concerned. And I might be coming on here next week after watching Newport and Gillingham and saying I am concerned. But as of those 2 games, look, we've tightened up. This is a fact. People saying, oh, we've only scored 1. Do you know if you add the goals conceded from Mansfield and Barrow together, it's 54. Notts have conceded 54. That's 2 teams with the best defence. And we scored against Barrow, a team that have a dreadful style where they just sit there. It's painful to watch. You told me, I didn't make that game. You told me it was painful.
It was so painful.
Yeah, and Mansfield, who we could have scored 2 or 3 against in the first half. Both those teams combined, we've conceded the same number of goals as those 2 teams.
Do you remember last Thursday I was saying Mansfield were lucky?
Yeah.
They were lucky on Saturday.
They were lucky on Saturday. The
ref, say it, Tom. Say it. I know you want to say it.
I saw it. He rolled his socks down a Mansfield tattoo. He came up to the away end, pointing to his leg and doing that. It was shocking, because I waited in the ground after just to speak to him, but he just showed me the Mansfield tattoo and walked off. But no, and there's a possible penalty. I don't know. It looks a bit soft to me, but on the replay. But I can't believe there's any criticism of him. He's taken a team that was shipping 5 goals for fun, not 5 goals every now and then. 5 goals for fun, and he's made us that defensively resilient. They had to score from outside the box. Did they have another huge chance? Yeah, maybe 82nd, 83rd minute, but that's because we were pressing. I was mind blown by the criticism of him. And albeit, if we lose 2-0 to Gillingham and 3-0 to Newport, I'll be coming in here saying I'm concerned, but I'm not concerned as of what I've seen so far. Not at all. I think, and like Matt talked about legacy when he came on. Luke Williams, fantastic manager, but I think when he left, I think we're in a worse state than we thought we were in. I think we were in a really poor state. I think we'd almost given up defending. We were shell-shocked, I think. You can't say we weren't, George. New Year's Day, we got battered by Tranmere. Absolutely battered by Tranmere. Grimsby, we didn't know what we were doing. I don't care if we had Jim in charge. We did not know what we were doing defensively. It was just let's attack. And I feel like we were in a pretty bad way when he left. And Stuart Maynard's here to pick up the pieces. And he's done that in 2 games. So,
Tom, that was just so inspiring.
But no, it really like look what he's done in 2 games. He's made us almost not impossible. He's made it very difficult to counter-attack against us. The way he described that he put the wing-backs in, I was concerned about the wing-backs, but alternating. But you go away from home against one of the best teams in the league and the best teams coming to Meadow Lane, and he spoke about swapping the wing-backs over. So they had to like swap in, and the players marking them had to drop in. I just think he's got it right. He's got it right so far. 2 hard games that we could easily have come away with 2 wins. There we go. That's my thoughts on it, and I'm going to back him until I have things to actually be concerned about. There you go. That's my feelings about it.
It's out of the way now, isn't
it? It is out of the way, and we go again on Friday night, tomorrow night. Rain stopped where I am, a couple of miles from the ground.
Rain stopped where you are? Liar.
Is it still raining?
Still raining, mate.
I popped out to co-op earlier. It stopped about an hour and a half ago.
That was an hour and a half ago.
Is it back on?
Yeah, I'm sat in the kitchen, which is next to the conservatory. I can hear it on the roof. Raining.
Yeah, there we go.
Raining.
What do you think about this comment, George? Someone's put, obviously, about the Maynard in 2 games. He's done that in 2 games, and we're awful to watching those 2. I quite enjoyed Notts against Mansfield, especially first half.
Yeah, to be honest with you, against Barrow, I did agree. I thought second half was just.
Was that more Barrow or was that Notts?
100%. 100% Barrow. Yeah, 100% Barrow. That's what they do, isn't it? They frustrate anti-football, I suppose. But Mansfield was not boring to watch at all.
I enjoyed it.
Jody Jones, every week, giving the opposition nightmares.
There's a comment here by Andrew. It says, if Williams was in charge last Saturday, we'd have lost 5 or 6-0. I agree with part of that. I think we'd have lost 4 or 5-2, maybe. We'd have conceded a lot of chances.
Yeah, I think it's important as well to look at the bigger picture and say, obviously we were conceding goals, but I don't believe it would have continued under Williams. I don't think we should start, saying Williams this, Williams that, because the reality is Williams was a class manager for Notts.
Oh, 100%.
He definitely did leave a massive legacy. So I won't be.
I think it would have continued, though.
I'm not sure myself. You will never know.
We'll never know. But there we go. There's the opinions. I think it would have happened. Would have continued to concede. I mean, we could go the next 2 games and concede 6 again in the next 2, couldn't we? Like it could happen, and then we're saying I've got egg on my face, haven't I? But there we go. Another thing, and I'm a little bit concerned about this. Obviously, we haven't got Jatta in, and Kevin Scott's coming back. We look very thin on the bench, didn't we, George?
Yes.
Very, very thin. Would you say there's no game changers?
I probably would. Yeah, I probably would say there's no game changers.
That's worrying. It is worrying.
It is worrying, but it's just been an unfortunate run of events, I think, for Notts, hasn't it? In terms of injuries. I mean, unfortunately, I don't think Jatta's going to be available, is he? Like you've already said.
Probably not even for Tuesday.
It's upsetting, isn't it? But things can only get better, I think.
Yeah, I I can't remember who put it on Twitter, but I think it was a really good phrase used. Is that we kind of we showed a hand from the start. We had nothing else to. We had nothing else to sort of offer. Like Sam Austin came on, but realistically, he's not going to be that man that sparks that you're going to rely on to spark something. I know he has in the past.
Yeah, do you know what? I retract my statement. Sam Austin is a game changer.
You think so?
100%.
I don't think he's
criminally underrated.
Yeah, he's not a player that I could bring on every game and say he's a game changer. I think he can do it a few times.
No, I think he's a game changer.
Yeah, fair enough. So I'm just reading some of the comments here. I agree. After Jody's shot, Flint clattered him. Why isn't that a penalty? It was not like it was instantly after he shot. Ref probably just said he's had the shot and that's the chance gone.
I was surprised when Flint got man of the match, did he?
Yeah.
For what? I don't really see him do anything.
It's a traffic cone.
Yeah.
Do anything else?
The best thing that happened, one of the funniest things that happened, I think they had a corner and him and Cameron ended up on the floor and Cameron was just on him, on his back.
My favourite.
Into his ear. What do you think he was whispering into his ear? This is a superb game of football, isn't it?
I think he's saying what's the best supermarket, Asda, Sainsbury's, Tesco, Morrison's. I honestly, right. My favorite thing is that I watched the farewell video of Wheelstone, but from Wheelstone for Stuart Maynard, and it was the Barnet derby, and he's talking about how players have to keep their heads, take the emotion out of the fixture, and then Kyle Cameron comes sprinting out to the away and screaming and pumping his fist. I'm thinking that's the complete opposite of what Stuart Maynard wants you to do, but the players were up for it, and I enjoyed that. Notts played behind closed doors friendly at Barnsley on Tuesday to give the fringe players a game. Maybe Kevin got some minutes. Don't know. Isn't he supposed to be back at the end of March?
Yeah, I don't think he'd have been playing.
No, but it's maybe a little bit early. But that's a good thing to give fringe players who played in that. Then, if I mean, Dale could be having us on here, but if that was a thing, who's going to be in that? Jim, Toby, Lewis McCarry, Rollo, Junior, Randall. Interesting one.
Yeah,
but I think. Kevin Scott and Jata back or Jata in for the run in. There's no Matty Palmer, but you get Colkill some minutes. George, do you want to talk about Robertson?
What a player. Absolute player. Don't get me wrong, he made one or two mistakes against Mansfield, but he is such a good player.
Properly stuck in.
Man. Gets stuck in. We've not had a player like that for a while.
Yeah.
Just he brings energy. He's sort of what I think a young Jim O'Brien would be like had he followed a similar position. Because O'Brien was a winger, wasn't he, in his earlier career?
Yeah.
Very, aggressive. We'll get a yellow card, but you take him, I think, sometimes. Very, very, very good player. I'm very interested to see how he develops at Notts because so excited from what I've seen from him so far.
Did you see an improvement from him since the Borough game?
Yeah.
So it sounds like obviously Grimsey was thrown in to the deep end there in a crazy game. Sounds like he's improved every single game. Adam channel member says love Robertson didn't initially. Yeah, I think it was a weird one early on. But yeah, always moans at the ref, which is good. Every challenge nagging away, and we need a little bit of nastiness, don't we?
We do, yeah. We really, don't want to fall
do.
into the trap of being too nice again, do we?
No, we don't. Robert's the only player I've seen attempt to tackle rather than trying to block. I think it's a good signing. Robertson improve every game. Robertson look in the park, gets the ball stuck on his feet a bit, but he's getting there definitely, and he's still quite a young player, isn't he? Still fairly young. We've obviously got two games. We've got Newport away on Tuesday night. George, I'm still banking on you to come to that game.
Might do a last minute jobby, but come on.
Oh, I hope so. Come on.
Me,
If you would like George to attend the Newport game, just put in the chat right now. If you want him to go. If we get 3 people that say they want you to go, you've got to come to the game.
Okay.
3 people, agreed?
Yeah.
That's all we're looking for. And it can't be Will, who I know is watching. It can't be one of the channel members. Let's see. See if anyone wants you there. 3 people.
No one cares.
No one wants you at the game.
No one wants me there.
There you go. Yes, go. George for the Newport game. There's 2 comments. Go, George. There's your 3. There's your 3. I'll put the 4. I'll put the car seat in the car for you. There we go.
Oh, dear.
Will said, get there, George. Go, go, go. Go, George. Go, George. Loads of George. Triple figures are coming up to triple figures. We're going to have 100 comments in a minute. Go, George.
It's difficult.
Everyone wants you there. Who's George?
Who's George? Exactly. Exactly. Who is George?
Go, George. Another one. The bloke that's at Newport, who George is.
I think what Brian's trying to say is, when's my biography out?
Yeah, fair enough. I know Will's desperate for you to come. So many comments saying go.
Oh, dear.
Desperate. Go on, take my place. I'm not going to Wales this season. Andrew's asked you there. Andrew's asked you to go in his place. There you go. There you go. Right. Well, before we go on to our team news, let's answer this. Let's answer this question. What's the
Are we doing it now?
We're doing it now because
I wish I had a bit of an input into this one because I think, you know, the team at the top of they've suited us up with this one. I think.
Go on then. What is it?
Which shop is best? Tesco gets 31%, Asda 21%, Morrison's 20%, Sainsbury's 27%, which means Tesco won.
Who would you have added in there?
Premier, Woolworths,
No, you
Wilco's, all of them.
Right.
When you're out and about and you think, oh, I'd kill.
They're not suit.
Should
have put supermarket.
Depends which shop.
Should have put supermarket.
We're top man.
What did you vote?
I voted Tesco.
I voted Tesco.
I voted Tesco, right? Tesco's never let me down. Tesco's trash. Will's, I think Will shops at Waitrose, so that's obviously why he's put that.
Mackie Horizon, if you DM us on Instagram, then we'll have a chat about that, about the Wrexham tickets. Appreciate it. No, I voted Tesco, and I've been duped by the club card prices because they up the prices. But if it's in yellow, I'm buying it. You know what I mean?
Anything.
Not a Mansfield shirt. But...
Ooh, if it's in yellow, I'll buy it. You said Mansfield wear yellow, so sorry, Tom.
What other teams play yellow? I might get a shirt for.
Yeah. No, do you know why I like Tesco? And I know every other shop does it, but I just feel like their scan and go is the best scan and go.
Unrivaled.
And that interface just does it for me. I haven't got to unload my trolley again to just load it back up again. I can just pack my bags as I go, put my headphones on, solace.
I imagine that's what it's like playing with Jody, that level of support.
What, Tesco scan and go?
Yeah.
Tom,
Hardwork's done for you.
The worst comparison I've ever heard of my life.
Hardwork's done for you there. Jody, just stand in the box.
Oh dear.
Right. Dear. I'm not.
Boop. Oh, it's like Jody that. Reminds me of doing Jody.
At least you talk to the checkout.
Like, Tom, why are you crying?
It's just so good.
It's like Jody Jones.
I just stand there like when I go for a checkout, speaking to the cashier. I say, "You're like Jody, you are." The way you scan that's like Jody. That is. Let's go for our team news then. I'm going to be controversial with my team news, and it is going to cause some anger. But off we go, George. Who are you going for in goal?
Stone.
Agree. Yeah. Couldn't really do much about the goal the other day.
Yeah. You've made me really angry with your team news there.
No, it might upset you a little bit. Okay. Hang about. This comment's good. George is big in Asda.
There we go.
That's superb. That is.
Love that. That's a great.
And very, very true. I know it's interrupted our team news, but have you ever tried to scan a cream egg at self-scan? Goodness me, that's a bush tucker trial. That is.
Well,
really, really is.
There's certain skill involved. I think that's an operator issue.
Operator issue for a cream. Oh goodness me! Are you going to take that? You're going to take that.
Take it.
Yeah, there we go. Defense, I'm going to keep the same defense. Aidan Baldwin for me has been superb.
Oh, mate, against Man City, he was amazing money.
He really was. Got his head to everything. And Matt was talking about how their new fullback puts 15 crosses in per game. Well, Mansfield put a lot of crosses in, and everyone seems to be headed away from Aidan Baldwin, to be fair. Sorry, I've got a little grin on my face because that operator issue joke, but there you go. James, buy a pack of 4, come in a box. James also is a new platinum member for us. So, James, if you could get in contact with us on social media, we'll arrange your platinum member monthly coasters that are being, or that have been made and that have been sent out. So, if you could give us a message, that would be amazing. Thank you very much. So, I'm going with the same defense: Cameron, Baldwin, and Warner. I thought Warner looked pretty good. Big game to come into, isn't it?
Do you know what I loved about Warner? He loved it, didn't he? He absolutely loved it. He come in for the derby. He came up to the away fans twice and was like, "Before the game had even started."
Yeah, one was. No, I thought that Notts fans were good. I thought Notts fans were good.
No, Notts fans were class.
Wing backs. This is interesting one because I thought after 60 minutes Aaron was shattered, but also I don't think he played that well at all game. Whether because he was on the different side, he just seemed to stop, didn't he? I'd still play him because I don't know what the issue with Toby is. Toby couldn't be fit or he would have come on. So I'm going Jones and Neman.
So pretty much so far, you know.
Midfield 2. What are you going?
Robertson. And I'm going to say Bostock, but I'm hesitant. I think he's in a bit of bad form at the moment.
Yeah.
I think that's where your change is going to be.
I'm going Robertson, and to partner Robertson, I'm going John Bostock. John Bostock there.
So you're just going to go and change?
I'm not going to go and change, no. I'm then going to drop Dan Crowley.
Why?
Because for me, Dan Crowley's level compared to pre-Christmas.
You've made me angry.
Not quite there. Also, it's not just about that. I mean, he's still a very good player. But it's the same thing about not showing your hand. Like, he would be the only option we have off the bench currently as a game changer. And he's not going to be dropped. And it will be Crowley, McGoldrick, Maka. But I'm going to go Sam Austin, McGoldrick, Maka.
Yeah, I get your point of view, but I don't agree with it. I get why you'd say that, but I don't. For me personally, I think Crowley has to start. I think he's so good at Medellin. He always seems to score when we're shooting towards the family stand.
Just playing for 1/2 then.
Yeah, could do.
People saying rest Neman, yeah, he could be an option off the bench. Start Randall, and that will give us an impact player. I worry, like you say. Matt said they don't lose when they score first. What option do we have off the bench if they score first? And
what a weird signing Randall has been.
I just think he's been completely unfit, hasn't he?
I was excited for him. I thought he was gonna, light it up at Notts, but he's not really played, has he?
See, this is where it becomes interesting with opinions, and no one's right or wrong, apart from when you're wrong, George, obviously. But James has said I'd drop Didsey. He's been lethargic, swapping for Job or Austin. A few people said that they didn't like Didsey's performance on Saturday. I did. I thought a lot came through him.
Do you know what I think? The thing with Didsey is, and this might sound a bit, I don't know what the word is, but I think what he does just looks so effortless. So it doesn't look like he's putting that much effort in. But he is very, very effective. I think the thing with him is he's played to such a high level. He's held to a high account, so people expect a lot from him. But I think he just does the basics very well. Not too fond of his long shot. That's all I'll really say on that.
Yeah, I thought he was very good, but there's few people said he was poor.
No, I don't think he was poor.
I do think he tires towards the end. Like, I'm not talking like 60 minutes, like 75, 80 minutes. I think you lose the best of him, and that's maybe when you can bring him off, but we'll see. So I'm going to go Crowley. Are you going to keep the same 3?
Yeah.
So you're going unchanged again. I mean, it was a great performance. I just worry against Gillingham off the bench. Do we have anyone? I don't know.
It could be one of those as well where the bench gets named tomorrow and there is one or two back in there, back in the fold that could maybe show themselves for 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah, like Slothy or someone.
Yeah, Sloth.
Casper Sloth.
Every week he gets mentioned.
Every week. Legend. Absolute legend. Right. That is our team news. It's only down now to our score prediction for tomorrow night. I'm going to put my neck on the line here. I am very, very confident, not of a Notts win, of a Notts clean sheet. I am confident of a Notts County Football Club clean sheet at Meadow Lane. I am.
7 minutes. Notts County 0, Gillingham 1.
I honestly, I think if we defend that way, and that's going to breed confidence, isn't it? I do, and I think we'll get a 2-0 win tomorrow. What are your thoughts?
I can see it. Yeah, I could see that happening. I'm going to say I'm stuck between 2-0 and 1-0.
Go 1.5-0 then.
I'm going to go 1-0 and a goal flagged for offside that wasn't offside. So 2-0, 1-0.
We had a half goal, didn't we, on Saturday? Went over the line apparently.
Yeah.
But let's see what we've got. We've got Pamela's gone 2-1. We've got a 3-1 from James. We've got a 3-1 from Maggie. We've got a 2-1 here. No one's going with that clean sheet really with me. We've got a 2-1, David. We've got a 2-0 win. We've got a 2-0 win. We've got a 3-0 win. 3-0 win. There we go. 1-0. 0-0. I'm not going out in the cold on a Friday for a 0-0, Dave. We've got a 3-2. We've got Will, who does know a decent amount about football. We've got 1-1.
Does he?
Also, well, he says he does. He said he plays to a high standard, but he plays for a reformed reserve side, so you never know. We've got a 2-1. I mean, he did score a couple of goals in the first 6 minutes for Notts County fans against Juventus fans. I'll give him that.
The thing I like about Will is humble as well. You know that when I saw him at Christmas, he had something laminated on the back of his shirt about a goal that he'd scored. So he's humble.
Yeah, good lad though. Good lad. We've got a 5-0. Chicks and Hattrick, Langstaff brace, Jody Jones, cream egg self scan. Makes perfect sense. Notts 3-2. We've got a 3-1. We've got a 2-0. We've got a 2-2. And I'm going to leave it with. I've got to go with this last one. There's so many to go. We've got a 2-0. Newport. I'm not going to put those up. I'm going to go Newport 2-2.
2-2. I'm going to say 1-0 to Notts.
Blustery conditions in Wales. Do you still do player ratings after game? Decent them if they're not there. Decent for those not there. Yeah, Colin, we'll do a player ratings tomorrow evening. Definitely. No rain forecast during the game, so let's hope it is on tomorrow. It looks like it should be. George said it's raining. I think George is fibbing. There we go.
It's absolutely hammering it down.
I can actually hear it on your conservatory. I'm not
surprised. I'm not surprised.
Hang on, let's all just have a second to listen. It's either raining or you're in the bathroom. One of the two.
I've gone like that, and the mic's on this one. Look. Hey.
There we go. Anyway, thank you all for joining us again. Matt was a fantastic guest to have. Jill was in the blood. Go and listen to his match preview. Give him a subscribe if you're not already. Please subscribe to us. We are pushing for that 3,400 subscribe mark in the next few months. Thank you to our channel members. Massive thank you to those platinum members as well that were at the bottom. And yeah, if you are going to the game, it's going to be a cold one, but it should be one, hopefully, that we can see a bit more of Stuart Maynard's style imprinted on the Magpies. Enjoy it if you're going. Please do leave a like on the video and comment anything else if you can think of.